Hey, what's up, guys? I'm going to do a video on my net worth journey. So I'm going to go ahead and start at zero net worth, which would be when I was 17 years old, or we can even put, yeah, why don't we put 17? So just a little bit of background. If you don't want to listen to it, just go ahead and jump ahead in the video to where I start my net worth journey. But Um, just to give you an idea, I didn't have rich parents. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. In fact, in my mind, I grew up poor. Not poor where I grew up in a cardboard box on the streets, but poor in that I only had the basics. We only shopped at Walmart. You know, um, only got haircuts at home. Um, things like that. Never had any name brand anything. If we complained about it, my dad basically told us, go get a job. So I know some people that's not poor, but to me, I definitely feel like I was poorer than my classmates and my friends. Um, anyways, I'm going to start my net worth at 17, or we can even say, um, we can even change it to 18 actually is when well, let's start at 17. 18 is when I started college, so I actually started going negative net worth at 18. Um, so basically, I did 6 years of college, and basically, I was pretty much on my own financially starting 18. My parents had no money for college. I paid for my own tuition, my own room and board for those 6 years. So, um, why don't we go ahead and start there? So obviously I started with zero net worth. Um, in order to get through 6 years of college, I basically took out as many loans as possible, um, and maxed out my school loans. So by the time I finished college, I was about 26. And then my net worth at that time was negative 83K. So that's basically 6 years worth of college and room and board. So I was off to a great start at age 26. The year after that, so I'm just gonna kind of list life events that made my net worth even more interesting. Um, so the year after I graduated, um, you know, I got I thought it was a decent job. First job out of school, I was making about $60,000 a year. I killed myself for 6 years in college. I ate, instant ramen and an egg every day. I ate dollar frozen food. Even before college, I worked hard in high school, tried to get the grades to get into college. So, I finally had a job. I was making $60,000 a year, and I guess like any other, young 20-year-old, I was into the philosophy of YOLO. So I was like, no, I don't care about finance, dude. I finally made it. I made it. I don't believe it. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. So I probably started spending and buying stuff that I probably shouldn't have bought. Okay. So the year after I first started working, I was making about 60 grand a year at that time, I believe. Um, I worked hard. Hey, I deserve a new car. So I ended up minus 95K. Still paying off my school loans. Oh, ooh, let me just put it here. Yeah, so all that was school loans. And then, I was paying off my school loans every month. And then I bought a used used car. Well, it's a used Acura RSX. So I spent about 17,000. I'll just call it 17,000. I probably spent more than that, if you include tax and all that stuff. So at that time, we'll say new car, second year out of school. So that made my net worth even worse. So I was down to minus 95,000 K. That's a combination of school loans plus car loan. So it wasn't really till I started doing my net worth journey here that I realized that I'm basically making all these mistakes, all these financial gurus tell you not to do. Um, you know, you should be paying cash for all this stuff, or you should get a really, I did get a used car actually, but they're telling you get a car that'll just make it spend 5 or 6 grand on a car until you save up and can throw cash down on it. Um, so even though I think buying a new or a used new car is I think my Acura is like 2 years new, and I only spent 17,000 on it, so it wasn't a huge purchase, but um, I probably should have spent less on a used. Um, well, actually, I had a used car that I decided was not reliable, and that's why I bought the next car. Okay, let's go on. Next life event was when I was 32. At that time, I think I had been working for what you can add it up, 4, 5, 6, almost 6 years, I think. So saving up some money, been working 6 years. I think my pay was probably a little bit more at that time. I think I was making it near probably around 70K, so a little bit more than initially, but not much. So, since I had saved up some money and, I listened to my family, I listened to my coworkers, they told me that real estate was a for sure investment. They told me you can't lose if you buy real estate. You should buy real estate as soon as possible. So obviously, I was living in Seattle at the time, and real estate prices were already high. Um, so I unfortunately, yeah. So unfortunately, I decided to buy a condo. It's about two. How much was it? Um, so I think it's about 250K. So at that point, with the mortgage, well, actually, with the new condo mortgage is about, I was now 284, about 862. So that's negative $284,862 at that time. That's because I bought a new condo. And so I think this is probably one of the biggest financial mistakes I made in my life. So number one, I decided to pay zero down for it. I had a little bit of money, so I could have probably paid like, I don't know, like 5% down maybe. But I didn't want to throw down the cash, so I paid zero down. I ended up getting two mortgages. Second mortgage, I was paying like 8% on it. And then condo also has obviously homeowners association dues. Um, when I bought it, it's only like, I think it's less than like $125 a month. Now it's skyrocketed to $900 a month. I did a separate video on that. Horrible mistake. But anyways, so still 32 years old at this time. I'm still paying my school loans every month. I'm paying my car loans every month. Um, but as I'm making some headway, I'm actually the car loan was, I think, pretty low. I think I was paying like 1.9, so like 2% on the car loan. So I wasn't worried about that. The school loans wasn't that bad either. I think I was paying like maybe 3 or 4% on the school loans. But I was basically making extra payments, probably on the school loans because I think the interest rate on that one was higher. So I was making extra payments on the school loans. I was still paying monthly on my car loans, and then I did this stupid thing of, buying a new condo, and now I have a mortgage as well. So I have debt up the wazoo at this point. 32. So I was 32 at this point. Um, I didn't even realize it. I just knew, at that point, probably a few years after I bought the condo, I started feeling a little bit stressed, which would make sense because, I didn't realize I owed this much money. I just realized, I have this big ass condo payment every month, and a job that was stressful as well, working in healthcare. So, anyways, let's move on. So, let's jump down to the next life event. I was 39 by that time, and my net worth at that time was minus 186. 733. Okay, so 186,733. And I know it sounds like I'm doing this frequently, but I bought another new car. So I think I actually had the old car for about 10 years. So I actually started a new job that year. I think is what convinced me to buy the new car. The new job, I was commuting. Um, I was commuting about 100 miles or more per day. So I mean, I was commuting about 500 miles per week. Uh, Even though I loved my Acura, I think is up to like almost 200K miles at that point. I was fixing it frequently, so I didn't really feel comfortable. I was driving home at night too, so I was driving 100 miles a day, coming home late at night. I didn't want the car to break down in the middle of the night, and I had to walk home when I'm 50 miles away. So I bought a new car. Um, and instead of the Acura, which was used, I actually bought a new car. Um, but it was only a Civic. Um, so I think I spent 20, about 21,000, um, probably before taxes. So a little bit more than the Acura. It was new, which financially doesn't make sense because financial gurus recommend that you buy a used car to avoid the depreciation. But I bought it new because I knew I keep my cars for at least 10 years. So it had 0 miles. So I know for sure it's reliable. It had a warranty, and I was doing this 100-mile commute every day. So for me, it seemed to be more worth it just to get a new car. It was a Civic, so it's not super expensive. It's reliable, and I know I'm going to put hella miles on it. So that was my kind of thinking at that point. Um, so you can see, up to that point, I'm basically the only thing I know how to do is I'm just trying to save money. I mean, I know it doesn't look like I'm saving money, but I actually had I was saving up quite a bit of cash. But my net worth obviously was still negative because the cash did not outweigh all these loans I was accumulating. Um, And so it wasn't really till I was about 40 when I started learning about investing. And that's when a lot of this negative net worth starts improving, uh, just because I'm learning how to not only make active income, but also make passive income through stock investing. Okay. So, next life event, let's see. Um, so, 40 years old is when I started learning about investing. About 43 years old is when I got the highest paying job I've had so far up to date in my life. So base pay at the new job, I was making about 120,000 a year. So that pay bump really helped as well. So I had a pay bump at a new job at that time. I was investing. How long was I investing? Probably investing for about 3 years, 3 or 4 years at the time that I got the new job. So, next life event, I had been working at the new job probably for at least 2 years by that time. Actually, I think I'm off the screen. Okay. So let me try this. Um, okay. Um, so next life event was, make sure I'm on the screen here. Okay. So next the life event was age 45. And at that time, my net worth was actually positive. It was actually pretty good. 168, 162. So I think what helped get positive net worth at that time is, so I had the new job, which was paying 120K. I learned to invest, and then I think those were the big two things. Oh, and then um, so the condo I bought back when I was 32, instead of being a super horrible liability, because I was actually paying I had two mortgages at that time on the condo because I didn't pay a down payment. Stupid. Um, so uh, it was right after, I think a year after COVID is when the real estate prices started skyrocketing. So I finally was not underwater on my condo anymore. And so the real estate prices on my condo was kicking up. So that was helping my net worth. The stock investing was helping my net worth. And the new job, higher salary, is also helping my net worth. So at 45, I was doing pretty well. So no longer negative net worth at 45. And then, um, and again, this is, I think a lot of it was related to real estate and increasing after COVID's first hit. So let's go down here, age 47. My net worth was up to about 680, 441. So at this point, I had already uh, paid off my condo, paid off condo. Uh, so, yes, I paid off both loans, or both mortgages by age 47. I think I actually paid off the second mortgage first because that one was 8%, so I paid the higher one off first. Actually paid off the second mortgage off when I was 46, I believe, either beginning of 46 or end of the year when I was 45. Um, so definitely paying off that second mortgage help. Um, so let me add one. Paid off second mortgage. So that really helped keep that positive net worth here. And then definitely once I paid off both mortgages, both loans, definitely that helped increase my net worth as well. And at this point, everything was paid off. The condo was paid off. Both cars were paid off. Um, School loans are paid off. So that's why you see that big jump in net worth. And then this year I reassessed. So this year I'm age 49. Um, and I normally don't include cars in the total net worth, but since I included it as a liability just to show how poor my finance skills were, early on, I'll go ahead and include the cars as well since they're paid off and it's a net positive now. So right now it's 986, 670. Okay. So that amount includes paid off condo, two paid off cars, all my other debts are paid off, school loans paid off. Um, but yeah, so little disappointing that this year, well, actually the past 2 years, maybe because there is such a, kind of a negative rebound, since there's such a spike right after COVID and real estate prices went up like crazy. I think it's kind of averaging out. I'm not sure about the rest of the country, but in Seattle, looks like definitely condo prices have been kind of sideways for the past 2 years, and then definitely I would say the past 2 or 3 months. To me, it looks like the condo prices in Seattle have actually dipped a little bit. So I've actually lost some money probably the past 2 years, or at least my home equity has gone down a bit. A bit being, I don't know, 5 to 10%. But again, it's all on paper. If I don't sell now, if I don't sell the condo now, I'm obviously not losing money, but I'm still ahead. I bought the condo for about 250,000. It's worth about 390. What is it? 392,000 right now. At one point last year, it was worth, I think, about 420,000. So I mean, it's up and down, as all real estate will be, but it's a little bit lower than it has been the past couple of years. And then the stock market just dipped a bit, December of last year, December of 2024. So I'm kind of reevaluating at the beginning of 2025. Um, so a little disappointed, but I mean, technically, if I took out the cars, it would only be 946,000. So I'm getting pretty close to that $1 million goal, but a little bit short. So I'm thinking probably in the next 6 to 12 months I'll hit that mark. And again, doesn't won't change anything as far as how I feel as far as lifestyle. You know, you're not going to feel any difference between having 900K versus having a mil. And I live pretty frugally, so it doesn't change my spending at all. But anyways, I just kind of wanted to kind of show that. Fortunately, I can't get it on the same screen. Um, but so that's the that's this year, 986K. And then let's go back. Oops, go back to the first page. So at 17, I start at 0, and then at age 49, I'm up to 986, 670. So not bad. Probably slower than I could have done it if I had learned about investing in my 20s. So that's the moral of the story, guys. Learn about money and investing early in your 20s, not when you're 40. All right, later, guys. Oh, actually, let me just go through a couple other things here. Yeah, so obviously you can see all the mistakes I made by racking up so much debt early in life. So that was obviously a big mistake. Yeah, I mean, I feel like some of that is because I was financially on my own since I was 18. My parents couldn't help too much financially. The only money advice I got from my parents was, some of it was decent. My mom told me invest in CDs, but she also told me don't invest in stocks because they're dangerous. Um, and early on in life, I thought I could save myself into millionaire status, but obviously, saving is not gonna get you ahead too far in life if you don't learn to invest. And I think buying a house is not always a great idea. I think you have to evaluate your own um, situation and decide for yourself, but don't listen to other people. Read books, learn more about it, and then go over the pros and cons and see if buying a house is good for you. It turned out okay for me now, 15 years later, but in the beginning, it was a big stressor as well, paying for that condo. Um, and the only advice my dad gave me was don't waste your money going to college. So that was great advice. Um, and his only other advice is start working when you're 18, get any job, because we don't have money for you. So, anyways, that was my um, my money advice growing up. Um, so obviously, I wasn't doing too well in my early 20s, and I'm doing okay now. All right, thanks for listening, guys. Later.